Welcome to another edition of Talk Your Exposure. This is season 1, episode 14. I'm alongside the homie Taevaunn Campbell. What's going on today, man?
Another day, man. Let's get to it today.
Let's get to it, right down to it. Hey, man, we got a very special guest with us today. Division I athlete, pro basketball player, Taevaunn Prince, man. How you doing, man?
I'm good. Thanks for the opportunity. Thanks for the platform.
Hey, thank you very much for taking some time to talk to us today.
Definitely.
All right, Taevaunn. So, we're going to start you off. Switch it up here a little bit today. I'm going to ask you some would you rather questions, all right? And you're going to tell me which option you like. Okay?
Here we go.
Here we go. Nice and juicy, man. All right. So would you rather airball a three-pointer or miss a layup? A wide open layup?
Airball a three-pointer.
You rather airball a three-pointer? Okay. Me too.
Yeah.
Would you rather get posterized or your ankles broken?
Oh.
I'd rather neither, but
if you had to.
I haven't been ankled or posterized, but I would say I'd rather get, I guess, crossed.
Why?
Yeah.
Why?
Because the posterizer is just like, it's on a man level. It's like another man is just, crushing it. Like, at least, you get crossed, you slipped. But, if you get posterized, that's body to body.
Yeah.
That's like,
They're keeping those files too.
Yeah. They're going to keep the files at a crossover too, but I feel like it hits differently.
All right. Would you rather be loyal to an NBA team but never win a championship, or would you be hated but loyal and never get 3 rings?
I'd rather be hated because loyal to NBA team, the GMs aren't loyal to the players. So at the end of the day, it's a business, right? So you're in it to win. So I could be hated. I'm not playing the game I'm playing the game for respect and, the love for the game, not to be loved by any or many. Mm-hmm. As long as you respect me and respect my game and I'm a winner, that's all that really matters. Okay. You got your family that will love you in your,
I respect that answer. You get to that level, man. It's a straight business. It is a straight business. So exactly. I can respect that answer. Last question. Would you rather never win a championship but get $30 million a year? Or would you rather wear 5 NBA championships but only get paid $3 million a year? You want me to repeat that?
I'm taking the 30 million because I quickly thought about Allen Iverson. Would I rather Allen Iverson career or Derek Fisher? I'd rather an Allen Iverson career.
Okay. So okay. I think
winning is everything, but at the same time, some teams aren't built to win.
Mm-hmm.
It has to be in the right organization. They have to be on the the right, everything has to be clicking at it. They have to have the money. Like teams, low budget teams aren't really gonna win like that.
Hey,
definitely.
He thinking today. He thinking and he preaching. This is a good start.
I'm on my toes. I'm always ready.
He's on his P and Qs. He's ready to go. Steven, on you.
I got you. He's a businessman, man. I already know he's a businessman. I see your Instagram all the time, talking business and whatnot. So that was definitely a business move right there that you just said. So I can respect that.
Yeah.
Last year, this day was the first day that there was a COVID case here in Canada. I want to know when the whole shutdown and lockdown happened, where were you at that very moment, and what were you thinking at that moment?
I was actually in Spain when it happened.
Okay.
Yeah, I was in Spain. So when that whole went down, I'm like, am I gonna make it back? A lot of stuff was going through my head. Like the first time we've been in any epidemic, pandemic, whatever you want to call it. It's the first time it's the first time we've been in this situation. So definitely I was shook for a little bit, but then season ended and then got my flight back. I actually had to. It was a struggle to get my flight back because I couldn't fly through the U.S. for obvious reasons. So I had to wait a couple of days. Went through Mexico, and then after stayed in Mexico for a couple nights, and then Toronto. When I got back, I was relieved.
That sounds like a party. Not even that doesn't sound bad at all. Staying in Mexico.
Right. No, I mean it wasn't bad, but I was in the airport for like a couple of days. That was bad. From Spain to going to Mexico because flights keep getting delayed and all that. So
fair enough. Was there any point of time during COVID or during the lockdown or whatever, from March till May, while you're at home, that you were thinking, man, this might be it for basketball, or what was running through your mind when you heard about COVID?
At the beginning, no, because obviously it's a pandemic, and I don't think our generation has ever seen this before. So you obviously think like, okay, it's gonna last for like maybe 2-3 months. In the summer, then everything's gonna go back to normal. So at the beginning, definitely not. And then as the lockdowns kept continuing, okay, there's a lockdown. Okay, 28-day lockdown. Okay, another 28-day lockdown. And then after you're hitting your agent, the market is kind of like, countries are closing down, leagues are closing down. So then you kind of think like, oh shoot, is this really is this how it is? It's like a bad movie. It's how it ends.
Trust me.
It's how it ends. So, it did cross my mind, but then, you just got to stay positive and, work on other things.
What kept you going? What kept you motivated?
During my journey through high school, university, then transfer. And so it's been a lot of perseverance, a lot of self-motivating, being able to drive yourself. So naturally I'm driven. Like I don't want to fail in anything in life. Anything I put my mind to, I don't want to fail. So that kept me going, and definitely putting God first and trusting in God. That was definitely, when you're feeling down and God's always there. So that kept me going. And just, working out. Because some days I'm getting up, I don't want to come out. What am I working out for? I'm working out, and then after, all you can do is run outside.
Yeah.
Close. So you can't even shoot around. So the gym's open up, you get teased, you go to the gym, and then you can't play. So but just self-motivate and just being disciplined.
A lot of kids watch our podcast. A lot of kids, between Devontae and myself, we coach a lot of kids. One of the things that a lot of kids were telling us in particular, where they kept asking us, Coach, are we playing games? Are we playing games? Are we playing games? And for us in particular, it's difficult to be able to tell them, like, bro, I don't know what type of season you're gonna have this year. Like, I know, like, when we're younger, when we're 15, 14, 16, 17, whatever, bro, we got to play a game every week, every day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We had that luxury of being able to play all the time. So talking about like self-motivating and being able to say, you know what, I've already been down this line before. People have looked under me or looked over me. Pandemic, screw the pandemic. I'm good without the pandemic, or with or without the pandemic. So can you give a little bit more? Can you elaborate on that a little bit more, just in terms of how you were able to kind of persevere, and also just to elaborate on that too? I know kids don't have the luxury of being able to go to where you are right now, but where are you right now that you're able to still train and still stay self-motivated?
In terms of being the mentality, it's been instilled for a while. Growing up, it's just nothing was handed to me. There's no handouts. So it's kind of my mentality. Like, I always want to try and be the best, or if we're running sprints, try to finish first. If in the class we try to get the highest. Like, I'm just a highly competitive guy. So even pandemic or no pandemic, I feel I enter like I'm kind of wired different. Now it's like, to me, it's like, okay, survival of the fittest now, or survival of the most adaptable. Who's going to stay in shape? Who's not going to stay in shape? Which side are you going to be on? Are you going to get fat and lazy while your competition, because everyone's really your competition. I have a lot of basketball friends, but within the lines, we're really not friends, and they're a competition. We're going for some jobs. So it's like, who's really, I turned it into like a mind game. Who's going to stay in shape? So I'm like, I know a lot of players are going to sit down and, get fat and eat a lot of food. And then I'm like, so that was my driving force. Like, I'm kind of competing with myself.
For sure.
So that's kind of how I wire myself. And in terms of where I'm at now, right now I'm in Jamaica. I have access to a gym to work out. I run the hills in the morning. So I'm working on getting into an indoor gym, because there's only 2 indoor gyms, or 3 on the island. So I'm trying to get in contact with some people to, shoot around. But I think as long as I'm staying in shape, I put up a bunch of shots when we were in the city at where we were training at.
Game six.
Yeah. So I was getting the reps in. So right now at this point, it's just keeping the cardio and keeping the weight at a good level. So, but
sure.
I'm thankful that I had an opportunity to come to Jamaica, and it's less I would say it's more like, in terms of media in North America, it's like a Netflix series. Every day it's a new episode.
Yeah.
In Jamaica, it's like, COVID, it's still you still hear about it, but it's it's not really as big as it is in like Canada and the US, where every day you tune in, it's like, oh, the numbers are at 6,000. Oh my God, the numbers at 7,000. You know, it's kind of more peaceful. You know, less of a Netflix series.
I'm coming out to Jamaica just now. Best believe that. Hold a spot for us. We're out there. We're out there.
Yeah, Kingston. You
I'm
already know.
jealous. Holy.
We're gonna touch up on your basketball career in a second, but a year to the date tomorrow, Kobe Bryant passes away.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get all the sad stuff out now so we can move on to better and happier things in a bit. What was Kobe to you? Was Kobe one of your favorite players? And also, when you found out about the news, what did you think?
Yeah, definitely. Kobe was one of my favorite players. You know, my favorite player is Allen Iverson. Jordan, wow. Allen Iverson, and Kobe. So Kobe's definitely. I grew up watching Kobe. Kobe was like, I grew an afro because of Kobe. You know, Kobe's whole demeanor and his style, the Kobe fro. You know what he brought to the game. Even his one of my favorite books is his Mamba Mentality. Just getting into the brain of Kobe and how he operates. And you know, he's very similar to Jordan, but to me personally, I think he's more skilled. You know, obviously because as time goes on, you're supposed to be skilled. So I think Jordan's a better player, but Kobe's more skilled. So I think Kobe he had no weakness for real. So he was very inspirational to me. Like he's so textbook, and you know his work ethic, and his drive. Just you know,
yeah.
So definitely.
Kobe's, sorry to cut you off, but Kobe's a different breed, man. I don't know, like there's always the conversation of Kobe and Michael and whatnot, and honestly, I really think that Kobe came in that era when Michael Jordan was about to leave to replicate Michael Jordan. You know, and that's it's the same person. It's crazy to see, you know, you watch, like you said, you looked at you read his book, and every documentary that he's on, every teammate that he's had, he's competitive. He works hard every single time. And I'm hearing interviews of people talking about 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning. He wants to get in the gym, had a practice at 9 o'clock or 7 o'clock. And he's been in the gym for 6 hours beforehand. So it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah. Kobe, definitely his mentality, and like, heard the news. It was a sad day because it's like you feel like, because I feel like he was a part of our childhood. We watched him grow, so you kind of feel like that connection. So I felt like I lost a family member almost, even though we don't know each other. But it's like almost like you see he's a part of your childhood, so you grew up seeing him. It's kind of like when Michael Jackson, like certain people I know. So I know the way we look at certain people aren't supposed to die, like the Allen Iversons, the Michael Jacksons, the Michael Jordans. It's like we grew up watching these guys are like our superheroes. So when they die, it's like, you know, we lose a part of ourselves because, you know, so it's crazy. It's definitely a sad moment.
It almost kind of feels like Kobe's, like you said, Kobe's supposed to be immortal. You know what I mean? It's really how everything started happening. You know, even although we had our first Canadian case of COVID on January 25th, 2020, you know, when Kobe passed away, it really started everything. Everything from there just kind of, you know, was a trend. And, you know, COVID really took off and really blew up after Kobe died. And for me in particular, like when you think of the effects that happened, like they literally were able to play the All-Star game in memory of Kobe. Then COVID happened, everything shut down. They brought the NBA back. Lakers win a championship. It just kind of seemed like it was just more and more Kobe. So I don't know, man. I don't know what would have happened if Kobe was still on this earth, but I guess it's unfortunate that we'll never find out. But, you know, RIP to a legend, and hopefully he's able to you know, still look down on all of our basketball players and keep looking down on us and making sure we're good. So
yeah, definitely.
I want to ask you one question, and before we get to your high school career, Kobe versus Michael in a one-on-one game in best of 7 series. Who are you picking?
Yikes!
Michael Jordan.
Why?
That was a little too easy.
It was. Right? I mean, it sounded easy. It's harder. Okay, Michael Jordan. If you want to go by accolades and what he's a proven defender.
Okay.
So we're not even talking offense. I feel like the only thing Kobe has over Jordan is the 3-point shot, which if you look at stats, Kobe's like 30 in the 30s. Jordan's around like 29, 31. So if you want to look at threes, okay, but mid-range you can't really stop Jordan from doing anything because really he's a defensive player of the year, first of all.
Yeah.
So and I think it's 87. He averaged 37 a game, and he was defensive player. So he's MVP and defensive player. So he can do it on both ends.
Yeah.
He's a super athlete.
Mhm.
Not like Kobe. If you run through Kobe's stats, like vertical, not saying vertical is everything, but the athleticism. Kobe's an average, above average athlete, but maximizes
Okay.
his like jumping ability. Michael Jordan's a super athlete.
Mhm.
Like Gilbert Arenas said, one guy's a Bugatti, another one's a Lamborghini.
I love that comparison. I love when I heard that. I was laughing.
But the Bugatti has skill also. So Michael Jordan is not a just super athlete. He actually he's super athletic and he's textbook at the same time. So it's like
Yeah.
the best of both worlds, and he really doesn't lose. If you go through his history, I mean, when he made it to the finals, he hasn't lost. When he gets to the big games, he knows what to do.
And that's the biggest thing about Kobe that like really differentiates him from sorry, I'm talking about Jordan. That differentiates him from Kobe and LeBron. Everyone say, "Oh, LeBron's better than Michael. LeBron's better than Michael." First of all, LeBron's played longer than Michael. Second of all, LeBron's lost how many times in the finals? And third of all, who was on Michael's team for the longest time? Before Pippen got there, it wasn't really anybody. So rules change because of Michael, but rules don't change for LeBron. So I hate that argument of when you add in LeBron to that one too. But I thought that Kobe and Michael was definitely a good comparison there. So I just want to get that.
I'd say LeBron, if you're going by who's a better all around, attributes, rebounds, like who's gonna fill the stat sheet? Okay, LeBron is. But if my life is on the line, I know I'm going with Jordan. So. Like,
Fair enough.
If my life's on the line, I'm going with Jordan. So
fair enough. So you went to school in Brampton. You went to DY, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I went to DeVille for my first year. Then I had to go back to my roots. I had to go to Henry Carr.
Ooh, okay. So you played with Kadar. Wow. You play with Kadar. You play with Raheem. You play with Malik. You play with Yao. You played with a lot of guys. You played with
All those Janet Finch guys. Yeah.
Okay. So you played a lot of 92s. I'm not too sure who the 91s were when during those times, but Henry Carr is always been
Josh Ogden.
Yes, Josh. I thought Josh was nice. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know what happened to him afterwards, but when he was in high school,
Josh was nice. Played a couple years JUCO. Josh was always solid, definitely.
For sure. Legend. So you went to I want to talk about your first year though at DY because you went to DY with Tristan Thompson.
Yeah, Tristan, Kofi Mensah, RIP, Gabs Newby, Jamal Newman, Manny Sahota, RJ Stevens.
That's what's up.
Pharrell. Yeah, our team was loaded.
I want to know what the work ethic was like for or the practices were like in general for that team, but also specifically, I want you to talk about Tristan Thompson's work ethic because he was always a tall kid. You know what I'm saying? People always kind of looked at him as a center. Now you see him in the NBA. He's doing his thing. Talk about the practices, what the practices were like for you guys, how competitive they were. And on top of that, if you can, just touch up a little bit on Tristan Thompson's work ethic.
Practices were very competitive because it's like it was basically a CIA and a bounce. That was our entire team, and then a couple other OBA teams. Our practices were always competitive. Like it's every day we're going at it, and then the game time was. Our games are so easy. No disrespect to any grade 9 team that year, but like our practices were way harder than our games.
I've heard that a few times.
Yeah. So, but in terms of Tristan, he was always a hard worker. Ran the floor, rebound. He was the same way he plays now is how he played in high school. Definitely a hard worker. Grabbed every single rebound. He had more of a mid-range back then though. He had a lot of touch.
Really?
That's what I was most impressed with was his touch.
Mm-hmm.
He always had a lot of touch, but his work ethic, he plays the same way now he did in high school.
So was there any? We had Dwayne Notice on here the other. We had Dwayne Notice on here for one of the shows, and he was talking about his practices within not high school but in university and stuff. When you're in a competitive atmosphere, was there any type of fights or arguments or just competitive battles in itself that you're able to touch up on and talk about?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the first time I got on campus, I was getting into it. Everyone, because obviously being from Toronto, we have a different mentality, right? And we're trying to instill our will, So obviously, it's my demeanor comes off as sometimes arrogant, but that's just my competitive nature. So definitely, and just and with masculine energy, you know, you gotta show who the alpha is. You have to know that, you know, this is my stomping ground. Like, you have to make your mark. So, you know, definitely nothing too serious, but, you know, it just sets the competitive tone. Nothing wrong with it.
That's what's up. That's what's up. What grade 10, grade 11, grade 12, fifth year? I think you stay back for a fifth year.
Yeah.
So 4 years you go to Henry Carr. You know, you're back in your stomping grounds now. Back in the stomping grounds, back in the area. You're coached by Melnick. First of all, who's a great coach, but a maniac at the same time.
Yeah.
What was that like? What was that like being in the Henry Carr atmosphere? You know, being around those guys and just being at practices like that, coming from a team like DY that was very competitive, NBA guys, D1 guys, stuff like that.
Henry Carr, going back to my roots, you know, it was a great atmosphere for me because, you know, it's kind of, I mean, DeVille is cool. It's more preppery, but Henry Carr, back to my roots, it's more grungy. Like, you know, when you walk in our gym, like I've been told by a lot of, you know, opponents that, yo, we're scared to play your guys' gym because, like, when you're walking in, you're seeing, seeing all the street dudes over there, and then we're making noise, we're just grilling. So, like, we create an atmosphere, you know. So, like, definitely, there's like Henry Carr is definitely, it's like the dungeon. You know what time it is. You're probably gonna get an elbow. We're probably gonna, you know, we're gonna let you know that we protect our home court.
Right.
Yeah, Malik is a great guy, great man, great coach, just a great person overall.
So who had a crazier crowd, DY or Henry Carr?
Okay, so DeVille's fan support was great.
Mm-hmm.
Henry Carr, we're just animals. So the crowd is more into it. They're gonna talk that mess. You know, it's just different. They're both supportive, but one's more aggressive.
I love it. I love it. If you were to go back to both schools right now, if you were to go back to either DY or you to go back to Henry Carr, you know, which one, if they were playing against each other, who would you be cheering for and why?
Actually, fun fact, in grade 10 we did face off.
Ooh, who won?
Come on, man.
Come on, man.
I do this, man. I do this. Shout out to all my guys in the Ville, but, you know, they have to get the work.
Mm-hmm.
They have to get the work, you know. But honestly, I think I enjoyed both, so I couldn't choose, you know. Both players, both teams had great players, so, you know, I couldn't really choose one.
That's what's
but
up.
when we did go head to head, though, I could only speak on that. I could only speak on the facts.
And you're 1-0.
Yeah, that's it. Like, you know, that's it.
Fair enough.
19 coach was Mike George.
Oh
wow.
Shout out to Mike George, the OG.
Okay.
That's OG right there.
Yeah.
Okay. So what did Mike George and Melnick teach you? What were the difference of their coaches, and what was or coaching styles, and how were you able to adapt to both of them?
Firstly, background on Mike George. When I moved from Rexdale to Malton, Mike George is the reason why I started taking basketball serious.
Okay.
I met him in the 7th grade. So yeah, moving straight from Rexdale. I played basketball. I just played outside though, you know, just pick up. Then I randomly went to a CIA tryout. I read a brochure. I'm like, let me go to this. Met Mike, and he actually he pushed me and like helped my mentality and everything, and turned me into like an animal with his Malton MA mentality. So Mike is more of he's like a people, like he's like he gets you hype.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, you know, he's big on defense, so he's more like down to earth with it. Like, yo, let's go. These guys, he'll talk to you like, yo, you guys are letting these guys kill you? Come on, you guys aren't serious. Like, but Melnick is more, you know, and like it's different styles, but they get the message across.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, grade 12 or 5th year, you know, you're finally, you know, you have a big decision to make. You're going to university or college. What was the deciding factor for you to go to the school you chose, and what other schools took notice in you, and you can also announce which school you went to as well?
The deciding factor was more so in my senior year, I was getting recruited by UNLV, Virginia.
Oh wow.
Wisconsin, Green Bay, like a lot of schools, a plethora of schools. But then with the clearinghouse, it took me, even though I had good grades, I don't know, for some reason, clearinghouse took long to clear me. Oh yeah, New Mexico State. So they took long to clear me. So after high school, I was really waiting for clearinghouse to clear me, to be honest. And then when they got around to it around September, I was cleared, but then the season already started. So I was actually thinking about going the JUCO route.
Okay.
But then after, they ended up clearing me in September. And then after, got in contact with South Dakota State. I was looking to go to New Mexico State or South Dakota State, and I just decided to go to South Dakota State and then begin my college career.
As we mentioned earlier today, we have a lot of kids and youth in particular that, you know, jump on the show and listen to the show and stuff like that. Please talk about the importance of the clearinghouse and the grades and core course and stuff like that, because not a lot of kids know about this, man. We try to get a lot of people to talk about it, because we want everyone that we have on here to touch up on how important grades really are. So please touch up on that.
Yeah, definitely. Grades is very important, you know. And on grade 9, you have to. I don't know is it still academic and applied?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, you have to know to take. I know the generation before us, they didn't know, but you got to take all academic courses throughout your high school years in order to be able to be eligible to play in on the Division I level. And also, the higher your grades are, the lower your SAT and ACT have to be. So, you know, so that's very vital. If you don't have any grades, you're really not going to play any university ball. You're going to have to take the JUCO route. Nothing against guys that go JUCO, but if you don't have to do it, then, you know,
don't do it.
Yeah, don't do it. But it's definitely very important to get your grades, make sure your grades are right, and, you know, so you don't have to deal with the clearance. Even though in my situation, I still have to deal with it, but, you know.
For sure. What is it? Again, it's all for the kids. I don't think we actually really touched up on this one before, but what's the difference of ACT and SAT? Touch up on that as well, please.
I don't even, to be honest, I was just focused on the SAT. I think I took the ACT once. I wasn't really focused on ACT. But the SAT is basically everything you learned from the 9th grade. So you have to pay attention to everything. Like, you have to remember. It's not like you could just breeze through. You got to remember what you learned in 9th grade, 10th grade, 11th grade, 12th grade, 5th year. So it's simple, but, you know, sometimes you're not even thinking about what you learned in 9th grade. Like, you know, you're excited just to be in high school, you know? So, but definitely math, science, you know, just normal stuff. Then ACT, I think, has an emphasis on more reading, if I remember. Yeah, emphasis on more reading.
Okay, fair enough. So, fair enough. Hey, kids, if you guys, whatever kid are listening to this, please make sure you guys are hearing him properly, because I'm telling you guys right now, SATs and SATs, if you guys want to go Division I, Division II, you need this stuff, man. It's important, man. It's important.
Yeah, it's vital.
So, man, don't even get me started. Don't get me started. South Dakota State, you touch up on you reach campus. You reach campus and you get there. You see everything, you know, you see you're finally now a Division I athlete. You see the ladies, you see all that stuff. Talk about the distractions before you even touch training camp. What were the distractions like on campus?
Training camp, I was really just focused, because I was really just trying to, you know, I know I'm going to another level now, so I've got to pick it up. So I'm like, let me try and get in the best shape, and, you know, I'm just getting used to the college game and the atmosphere, and just, you know, being on campus. I mean, granted, I went to prep after Henry Carr. I went to prep school in Maryland and in New England. So I'm kind of used to, and the way those schools are set up, it kind of gives you the college atmosphere.
Okay.
So I'm kind of ready for that already. But there wasn't many distractions going into training camp, because, you know, I was really just focused. But obviously, ladies and everything, you know, and getting adjusted to, like, you know, the university courses now, and you're more independent. You can't rely on them. Like, you know, you got to do everything yourself, you know? So
and that's the biggest thing too. The biggest adjustment for people when they go to university and they go to college, you know, now you have to pretty much fend for yourself. You know, even though you have meals 3 times a day or whatever case is, you know, you get breakfast, lunch, dinner. What about snacks? You know, sometimes people don't always really mess with that. Sometimes you got late practices. Sometimes you're in the gym till late. You forget about the you know, stuff like that. So you got to go to the whatever kitchen there is and make your own food and, you know, do what you got to do. the being able to adapt from, you know, having mom and dad cooking for you all the time, or just, you know, the general, you know, the general vision of it, of mom and dad cooking for us all the time, to be able to have to cook for ourselves, do our own laundry, do things of that nature. Was that an adjustment for you, or was that something you're just like, whatever, I've been doing this my whole life anyway, so I'm good?
Yeah, I mean, I've been on the road since like 16, so that's when I went to prep. So by the time I hit university, it was like second nature. Like, you know, I was already doing that stuff for myself. You know, I was fending for myself. So, because like I'm leaving at 16, away from my parents and my family, and I'm on a mission. And I feel like sometimes I forget to appreciate the little things, because imagine you're 16, you're sent off to Maryland. You're part of the first group of Canadians that are really paving the way and like killing in America. So we're out there. It's just like I'm on a mission. So like my mind's kind of wired differently. So I'm like everything is survival of the fittest. Like I'm out here. I can't call for no one. I can't say, oh, like I'm not getting, like my mentality is, I'm not getting sent home. I hear those stories about people getting sent home. Like, yo, it's not gonna be me. I don't want to be a statistic. So, you know, by the time I hit university, I was already prepared for it. You know, good mentors like Mike George, Coach Derek, Coach Ramage, Coach Rono. You know, good mentors. So I was already prepared for it.
So, what was your coach at, you know, South Dakota? Was it any different than, you know, like you already mentioned before, you were prepared for that part of being at university, being at college, but the coach in itself, you know, we all know Melnick's a little crazy. You know, Melnick knows in his own ways. How did this coach either relate to, you know, Mike George, your prep coach, or Melnick, that, you know, how was he able to help you and you know, coach you in the way that you had to be coached?
I think it was a great experience, you know, in retrospect. You know, as a old school coach, you know, grit and grind. You know, he taught me how to because obviously in high school, you're the man. Everywhere you're the man. When you get to university, everyone's the man of what school they went to. So now it's like, okay, now you have to tell me how to work hard, work smart, discipline, and the best part, tell me how to win. I was my 2 years at South Dakota State, we won the tournament 2 years in a row, went to the NCAA March Madness 2 years in a row. So the biggest thing is discipline, and throughout my career I was been a winner, so I know it taught me how to win, and at a high level too. So it was very I'm appreciative looking back. At the time, obviously, you know, yo, I should be doing this, but when you look back, it's like, yo, it was a good experience, because, you know, you grow through resistance. Like when you work out, you lift weights, resistance, your muscles get bigger. They break down, they get bigger. When you're in adversity and resistance, you know, you feel like it's the end of the world, but then you grow through it. Then in retrospect, you look back, you're like, yo, I needed this.
Yeah, for sure. No, that's key. That's definitely key.
Yeah.
First game. Let's get to your first game right now. Who do you guys play against? And what was your initial reaction when you finally, you know, you're sitting on the bench or you're starting or whatever the case might be? What were your thoughts going into that game?
I don't remember, but our first official game was against University of Minnesota, I believe.
Okay.
And I was just hyped. I got 13 points, 10 rebounds. I was ready to go. I'm like, yo, I'm on TV. I'm playing against Big Mo Walker. I'm like, yo, let's get it.
That's a name right there. Right there. Big Mo?
Yeah, Big Mo was at Minnesota. So I'm like, yeah, that was my first game, and I was ready to go.
That's when DeVoe was there too.
I know DeVoe just left.
Okay.
Yeah, he went to Oregon right after, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that was my first game, right? Because our schedule was tough.
Okay, so touch up on that schedule a little bit. Touch up on you know, again, kind of going back to the first question related to the game. What were your emotions? I know you mentioned the TV and stuff, but now that's even bigger now. I didn't even know that part. So, what was it like being on TV?
It was great, man. Like, you know, obviously you're nervous before every game. I'm nervous. That's why I love the game. So I was nervous. I'm like, oh shoot, this game's on TV. I can't play like ass. Like, you know, I can't, you know,
people watch.
So it's like, you know, you're giddy, but then once you get on the court, you're like, yo, it's either me or the opponent. I have to pick one, and I'm picking myself. So swim or sink. That's it. So you just hit my first shot. I'm like, oh man. As soon as I see one shot going, I'm like,
You're
I
good
feel like
after
every
that.
shot's going in. Yeah.
That's
So
what's
I'm like,
up.
I would never gone. I'm like, all right. I missed like 7 free throws that game. I think 6 or 7 free throws that game.
Damn.
I remember. I don't know I don't think it was the new Wilson. I don't know what was going on. I normally don't miss free throws like that, but we ended up losing the game. But it was good to know. I'm like, okay, I stepped on the court against University of Minnesota. I'm like, okay, I deserve to be here.
What was your career high? What was your career high in your 2 years over there?
My career high, I think it was like 17, because off the bench. I didn't start neither. I started a couple games, but my freshman and sophomore, I think it was like 17.
Okay, that's solid. I know you mentioned earlier that you've always been a winner. You guys won the championship. You guys won your conference 2 times in a row. Talk to us about those conference games. Talk to us about the grit in it. Talk to us about the grindness, the grind you had to get to. The adversity you guys had to face throughout those times. Whether being down or up or holding a lead. All those different things that come into being a basketball player and being on a basketball team. Talk to us about all of your emotions. We want to know all of it.
Yeah, I mean, definitely started in the preseason with the conditioning. That's one thing. I'm like, I thought I was in shape coming in, and I did the condition, and I found out I was in shape, but I wasn't in
game shape.
high division 1 shape.
Mm-hmm.
The suicides and the stations. I'm like, holy. I never threw up. I never ever threw up during a workout, but it's like, I'm like, this might be it. So the first thing was getting over that because that's all mental.
Yeah.
It's all really to test your mental. So once we got over that, the practices, our inspiration was he was big on defense. We play defense by this, like the way the Spurs play defense. We play gaps. We don't deny. We just play the gaps. Play just like this. Everything sort of Spurs. Everything on a baseline. We're setting base. We're icing the screens. Okay, so practices were tough. Very defensive minded coach. So built a lot of grit. I played with probably the best point guard I played with, Nate Walters.
Okay.
Very good player. He got drafted. He ended up getting drafted by, I think, Philly. Great player.
I heard that name.
He taught me. Yeah, he's probably the coldest white dude I've ever seen. He averaged like 25 that year, 25, 6 and 6. I'm like, this guy's different. But he seen his work ethic, and taught me how to work hard as well. Just watching him, learning from him, picking up little stuff from him. Like he plays like a Dragic type, Steve Nash Dragic type.
Oh wow.
Definitely that group of guys. It was great. We had a lot of chemistry, and it's like that's what I feel like. That's what makes a team play well, because you're willing to go to war for it. It's like your brother. You're willing to go to war because he'll go to war for you. So definitely, but winning those two championships is huge. It's the first time that it was done in school history. So the first 2 times we did back to back. So it's like, well, we started the wave. We took over that league, and it was great. Going to the tournament, playing Baylor our first year, and then Michigan. It was an experience seeing TSN there. It was like wow.
Yeah.
For sure. You touched up on it literally just a second ago, but us being kids, when we're younger, we're watching March Madness with our families. We're seeing all that stuff. We're seeing the excitement from the locker rooms, from these teams and whatnot. What was your locker room like when you guys got the announcement you guys made the conference or you guys made the dance? And on top of that, when you finally stepped onto that court, or you're traveling, or whatever it was, when did it finally hit you? Like, yeah, we're in this dance right now. We're in March Madness.
The moment we heard, I think we were all meeting in the gym, watching it on the projector, and we just all got hype. We're like, we're going. We're just all happy. It's just genuine happiness because we grinded all year. We weren't picked at the beginning of the year. We weren't picked to win our league. They had us finishing like 4th or 5th. Then after we just we started off to a great start. We won our tournament, and then when you win your tournament, it's an automatic bid. So it's just we watched who we were gonna play.
For sure.
So it was great. And then, traveling, it's like, oh, I'm like, I'm really playing in the March Madness. This is crazy. So the whole, it was just an experience, the practice before, all the little things, like the t-shirts you get, like, it's like, it was great. It's definitely a memory.
Most definitely. Your first game you said was against Minnesota, if I'm not mistaken? Yeah. Your first game was not your first season game, but your first tournament game.
No, first season game was against Minnesota.
No, I know it, but I'm talking about now. Yeah. Wow, I just started. Wow.
It's a pandemic. It's a pandemic. Don't worry.
Allow me. Allow me. Now you're talking about the first tournament game now.
The first tournament game. Who you guys
against
play?
Baylor.
Against Baylor. So that's when they had Quincy AC and those guys.
Yeah, Brady.
Oh, Brady. Okay.
Pierre Jackson.
Yep.
Quincy Miller.
Yes, Quincy Miller, who played for OKC as well.
Yeah.
So that was your first game against those guys. Again, you hear about all the hype, you hear about everything from those guys, especially playing against Brady, being a Canadian and whatnot. What was it like, seeing those guys up close and personal? I know obviously they're human beings, you guys tie your shoes same way you guys tie their shoes. But not really just an intimidation factor. It's just more so, Baylor is a known school where you guys, like you said yourself, you guys haven't really been there before. This is your first time at the tournament playing Baylor with some future, lottery NBA guys.
Yeah. For me, because I played on the AU circuit with CIA Bounce, I ran into like a couple of these guys already. So when I see them in university, it's almost like we're just linking up again.
Okay.
But I'm obviously hearing about Baylor. It's like, okay, we're playing against Baylor, like, some real animals over here. So obviously, but once the ball goes up, none of that stuff matters because it's like it's basketball. You bleed like I bleed. Shout out Biggie. And it's really it's like get to it. Like one basketball, let's get it popping. That's it.
For sure.
Shout out to my guy Brady too. I've known Brady for a long time. MVP days.
MVP.
If you know about MVP. MVP.
Wow.
Hey man, I played BDP, bro. I played for Central East, man. So I know all that.
Okay. Yeah.
We beat Central West, man. We beat Central West. I don't know if you play for Central West or Central East, but we beat Central West.
Central West.
Yeah. See, you were taking L to us, but it's okay.
You guys did beat us. I think I remember. Yeah. Because who's on your team?
My team, it was Jalen, it was me, it was Mahesh, it was Luke. I played grade 7, right? I played grade 7. So Stephon Nastic. On Central West was like Dejan Sutherland, Sim, Daniel Thompson. They had a solid team. Yeah. They had a solid team. But we're just, this goes back to what you were talking about earlier. We're just a better team. We're a better overall team.
Yeah, Century's always had my respect,
Shout out Chris Chang, shout out Peter Jones, shout out Chris Chang. I want to ask one last question related to the March Madness and your Division 1. Who was your toughest check while you were in school, while you were there? Like not at your school, just in general of all the games you played against. Who was one guy that you see them on the schedule and you get excited about, but you knew it was gonna be tough every night?
That's a good question.
I would have to go with someone on my team, to be honest, because we're going at it practice every day. True. Yeah, so I would have to say Nate Walters.
Okay.
For sure.
Yeah, I would definitely have to say Nate Walters. I know we're on the same team. We went at it every day, and especially he's not the fastest. He's very crafty.
Yeah.
He knows the angles, and he knows how to utilize the pick and roll. So I feel like I would rather guard someone one-on-one than guard them off a pick and roll.
Yeah.
Because from a pick and roll, you're always starting from behind someone.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
You're always playing catch up. At least if I'm starting from in front of you, I have a better chance. But someone that really knows how to utilize the pick and roll, you're always playing from behind him. Like look at Chris Paul. He just traps you.
Yeah.
So definitely, I would have to say Nate Walters.
And during your time there, was there a rival between you guys and North Dakota State? Did you guys have that rivalry?
Yeah, definitely. There was a rival. Oh, it's always a beef. North Dakota.
Always a beef thing. Okay.
Yeah, always a beef thing.
As I would figure.
Yeah.
Who would win more often? You guys or them?
We won. My tenure there, we were winning. They know who the big dogs were. They know.
That's what's up.
Did you guys typically see them in like the playoff run? Obviously, in the Summit League, in your conference tournament, do you guys usually see them, or like who during your era? Who's the top guys? Like your most competitive games. You knew if they're either coming to your house or you're going away. Who's that team that you guys like? Shoot, today's gonna be a good game.
I feel like North Dakota State, but University of South Dakota did have Javal Miles. Shout out my guy Javal Miles from Pickering. And he was always a dog. He was always fun playing against him. But I would say North Dakota State really brought the best out of us.
That's fair. That's fair. That's definitely a rival I know you guys got going on.
Yeah.
So you transfer over to Missouri Southern State, Division II. First of all, let's get this off our chest right now. I hate the perspective of people that say you have to be Division I to be the quote unquote best of the best. Can we touch up on the fact that Division II basketball is not as bad as people make it seem?
Here's the thing. Anyone that has to say, come guard me, and then you'll know. Because the
energy.
Yeah, the conference I was in, it was only D1 transfers.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like guys that had everyone has their story. Like some guys were coming from JUCO and then couldn't clear to play D1, so they're like, okay, let me just. So my conference was loaded with like D1 transfers. Those guys that weren't playing a lot of D1s. They're like, okay, let me just. And they don't want to sit out the year, because that was my thing. I didn't want to sit out a year.
Mm-hmm.
So I just like, okay, connected with shout out Bobby Allen. Bobby Allen is actually the reason why I went to Missouri Southern. He made that connection. Bobby Allen. He's one of the greatest Canadian basketballs ever. You guys have to do your history on him and probably bring him in for the show. Actually, he's the reason why I went. He made a connection with Jeff Boshi. Jeff Boshi went to the University of Kansas, and D2 basketball. There's no slouches. I've seen some killers. Some guys that are even better than guys that are playing Division One.
To be honest, the whole theory of or the narrative of you got to go Division One and Division One is this and Division One is that. I feel like now people are starting to kind of get a bit more of a hang of it, saying, as long as I play NCAA, I don't really care. That's how my mindset was, and I feel like a lot of people in general, kind of have that same mindset. But like just Division II in general, like I played Division II. I played at Alderson Broaddus. I'm not sure if you heard of that school or not, but I played at Alderson Broaddus in West Virginia. And honestly, man, there were so many guys that were over there that were just as good as the guys that I played Division I JUCO with. That played Division I. You know what I'm saying? So like this narrative of Division II to Division I, this and that. Shut up. Just shut up. Like you know what I mean?
I mean, like, so Scottie Pippen went NAIA. We all know Scottie Pippen. Flip Murray, real ones know Flip Murray. Went D2. Ben Wallace, D2. Charles Oakley, D2. Devin George, D3. So there's a plethora.
Duncan Robinson, D3.
Duncan Robinson, D3. So it's like, my thing is this, life's gonna throw a bunch of challenges. You just gotta play the cards you're dealt, and everyone's gonna be in a different situation. You gotta make the best out of the situation. If you're nice enough, people are gonna see you. If you're a killer, you're gonna kill. So you could be at a D1 playing 10 minutes a game, averaging 2. You could be at a D2 playing 30 minutes and then getting the best out and showing your ability.
Most definitely.
Everything is situational, So I don't really, if you're D1, D2, JUCO are some killers too. Like, some people just, their situations are different. So I don't really pay attention to the politics. I'm more into the production. Like, what's your production? What's your body of work?
For sure. For sure. Let's get on to the school that you went to, Missouri Southern State. Were they a winning team before you went over there?
Historically, they've always been winners. So historically, but the last couple of years, they always been a good. So I would say winning program historically.
Did you guys have the same results when you were there too?
Yeah, we both my seasons there, we had winning seasons. We didn't quite get over the hump and make the run in the NCAA tournament, but good 2 winning seasons. Great, made a lot of great relationships and played with a lot of good teammates.
You touched up earlier on playing with Nate. Was there anybody that you played with at the school you went to? Was there anybody over there that helped you and competed or made you compete against them every single night that was tough and challenging?
I think collectively, I think major factor was my coach Jeff Boshi, believing in me and pushing me. I think he was because Jeff Boshi, I respect him so much. He gave me an opportunity. And he was a player himself, and he played at a high level. He was a McDonald's All-American, went to the University of Kansas, played with Pierce, Heinrich. So he's like a player's coach. So at South Dakota State, I got the the old school, you know, coach. Now I'm with the 35-year-old that's hip, that knows. Like, yeah, he asked me, yo, you listen to Get Rich or Die Trying? He's like, yeah, I did too in university. Like, I'm getting that type of energy now, you know. It's a cool cat, you know. So he definitely pushed me, and like, you know, he helped raise my game to a level I didn't even know.
That's what's
so
up.
He was very,
Your senior there over there, you get MIA all first team, MIA all second team, NABC all district central first team. You know, in a year in you know years difference. When you were at South Dakota, you know, obviously you were a sophomore and a freshman. Now you're a junior and a senior. You're finally getting the awards and recognition that you deserve. What was it like winning those awards, and how accomplished did you feel at that point? Did you feel like, hey man, I finally did it, or was it like I should have already got it from begin with?
I feel like everything happens for a reason. So those 2 years in South Dakota State, through the grind, and you know, it helped propel me or create me into the monster, because I had so much built up, so much frustration and like built up. So when I was making a transfer, Bobby Allen told me, he's like, yo, when you go to the school, it's either you're All-American, and I don't want to hear it. It's either you're going to be an All-American, that's all I want, like nothing else. All-American or bust. So I'm like, shoot, All-American or bust. So I'm like, yo, I gotta make this season memorable. I'm like, I'm gonna lead. I didn't even plan on leading the country in scoring. So I'm like, yo, I'm doing everything. I'm grabbing 10 rebounds a game. I'm doing everything. Because Bobby Allen, I put him at such a high regard. I'm like, okay, I gotta do this. I gotta lead the country in scoring. Because when you're going D2, you have to make sure you're doing. You want to stand out. I didn't want to be just a D2 player.
Yeah.
I want to look at me like, okay, yeah, this guy's not even supposed to be here. Like, that's the mentality. I want everyone to be like, yo, why is this guy even here? Why is he playing with us?
Facts.
So that was my mentality. So I'm just a guy, a Division I talent, got thrown into the mix, and I wanted to play so good that everyone is like, okay, it's unfair. Like, he shouldn't be here. Like that, like the bully that's playing with everyone. Like, he's not. Why is he here?
Yeah.
You know. So that's my mentality.
It's almost like the kid that gets held back one grade. You know, smarter than everybody else, taller than everybody else, stuff like that.
Yeah, I wanted them to view me like that. I'm like, yo. Yeah, I'm a nice person off the court. I'm just real. I'm an asshole on the court, but I'm like two different people. On the court, you probably hate me, you know. Like I get into with my teammates sometimes, but you know, it's all good. After we're going to lunch or something, I'm just like the nicest person. So they're like, "Yo, weren't you just talking a bunch of mess to us on the court?" I'm like, "Yeah, my bad."
That's what's up. That's what's up.
Yeah.
Final question related to your university career. Then we're going to start talking about your pro career afterwards. I want to know, well, your career high in university was about 17 a game. What was it like? You know, now you finally get the ball in your hands a little bit more. What were you scoring now?
Yeah, I was 27.
Shit.
27 and 10 boards. So like I was shooting a high clip too, and I was so locked in that year. And even the summer, I started doing this workout by Tim Grover. I was just like all the way. I'm like I gotta get it. I said Bobby Allen said All-American or bust. So I was really getting after it.
27 and 10 sounds like a damn good stat line. That better have been All-American.
Yeah, exactly. I wanted to be, you know, like they undeniable. I'm like, they have to let me in. I'm kicking off the door. They have to let me in. They have to give me something.
That's what's up. So your first pro contract is in Germany. Talk to us about how you got over there, and talk to us about what living in Germany was like.
Prior to even going to Germany, after university, I got invited to the NBA pre-draft camp. Impact. It was in Vegas.
Okay.
So that was a great experience too, because I got to everyone that was in the draft class that year was there, so I got to be like, okay, am I just doing this in university with these guys? So I got to test my skill there, and I held my own the same way, the same old moves, the same old jump shot. That's why I'm like, okay, it's not really a D1 or D2 difference, because I'm doing the same moves, just, you know. So that was a great experience to test my game. And then after Germany was cool. Obviously, it wasn't my first time going to Europe. I went to Europe when I was 16 with CIA Bounce.
Okay.
So, but Germany was cool though. It was surprisingly, it's very Americanized.
Mm-hmm.
very, very Americanized. So, it was good living out, good food, but it was a good experience. The language barrier was tough, but you got people on your team and your coaches that translate and get the message across, and you have fellow Americans there as
Oh, that's good.
imports.
That helps. That definitely helps.
Yeah, we got two American
For
teammates.
sure.
That always helps when there's some foreigners, or whatever they call you guys, over there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I feel like that always helps. I mean, I haven't played pro basketball, but I can only
Yeah.
imagine what it's like when you just go to a different country in general. Like even when I went to even America, sometimes they're talking to me with the accent. I'm like, bro, what are you saying?
Yeah.
So when you have a Canadian with you, it's like, oh, okay, I can talk to somebody, but that's a whole nother topic for another day. What was practice like over there? Obviously the language barrier was a little bit different. The coach might have not always been as clear to you as possible. How did you figure out how to relate to him? And did you ever kind of was there any of the coaches that spoke English, or was it straight German?
Yeah, I mean the head coach, he understood a little bit. It's more the assistant that spoke better English. But practices, I would say compared to university, they were lighter,
Mm-hmm.
but a lot more technical. Because in Europe they appreciate the European background is soccer, right? So everything is strategy and technical versus raw athleticism, getting up and down. So the practices were shorter, and so it was less impactful on the body. It was more of like you had to think.
Mm-hmm.
But off the first week, two of my teammates got sent home, so I knew it was serious. So
Shit.
I'm like, same mentality. I'm not gonna be that guy to be sent home.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not being that guy. So so it's just you see the business side of it that are really cutthroat. You got to come in there and handle business right away. You can't. You got to separate yourself from the pack because they're paying you, right? So it's like, why am I gonna pay you as an import or a foreigner when you're not even better than the guys that are from our country? So
For sure, and that's the biggest thing too, man. Is that there's only like, I think Canadians are lucky they can take more Canadians, but compared to Americans, they can only take one or two Americans or something like that.
No, it actually, if you're Canadian, Canadians and Americans both count as imports.
Okay.
So you're both battling for the same spot.
Damn.
Yeah. So
Damn.
so you're allowed. I think in Germany at the time you're allowed two Americans or imports, which could be a Canadian or an American, and then after one continent, which is someone that's from Europe.
Mm-hmm.
So we had a Hungarian guy.
That's okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So a lot of teammates that spoke German or different languages.
Yes.
Fair enough. Fair. Was it like a love and basketball type moment when they're speaking all German, and then after you had to go to one of your teammates and be like, bro, what the hell did they say? And they said, just give you the basketball.
I mean, that's the thing. There's a couple of German Americans on the team too, so it's like we kind of like had our little English mob,
Okay.
Gotcha.
So every time I need to I'm like, yo, what do you say? What do you say? He's like, oh, okay, cool, all right, got you. Because it's not like Spanish is easier because obviously we grew up learning French, so you can see the similarities.
Mm-hmm.
Understanding German is very tough. Like even when you hear it, it's like sharp. It's very At least Spanish has a little flow and French has a flow to it. German is sharp.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
You transition now to Spain, so now you go from one culture to another culture. Spanish culture is a little bit more Canadianized, you know what I'm saying? But I mean, this kind of goes back to the first question where I asked you about, university. Now you're walking into Spain, that they say they have the most beautiful women over there. They have the best cuisine over there. They have the best everything over there. Everything over there in Spain is great. Parties, everything. What was that like?
Going to Spain, you hear about the great things about Spain. Obviously, the food. Hear about the women, the culture. Here's the thing: when I'm going to these countries, like as I said, I program myself contractual hitman. I'm here to kill first because I don't want to get sent home. So everything is fun and dandy until you get sent home, and then you're that guy that got sent home. I don't want that. So I'm coming to murder and just instill my will. Then from time to time we're winning because it's only fun when you're winning. It's not really, like, it's only fun when you're winning. You never meet a couple, like a group of guys that are losing and having fun.
Yeah.
It just doesn't add up. So it's only fun when you're winning. So I'm like, I want to prove myself before we start going to, a couple parties, and I'm like, let me just focus on killing first. We get the ball rolling. I'm doing my job. I'm bringing a winning culture. Then that's all I care about. And
Fair
then
enough.
obviously you want to have fun, but you have to have a balance, right?
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Is Spain's basketball culture as crazy as they make it seem like? I've watched some videos. I've heard Jose Calderon talk about it, Jorge Garbajosa. I've heard those guys talk about it. Was it as crazy as they made it seem?
Yeah, they love basketball. I mean, they love soccer more, but they love basketball, and they take the game very serious. And I respect Spanish basketball because they play extremely hard. Until they could be they're losing by 20 points. They're playing until the buzzer. They play extremely hard, and they you appreciate the way they play because they play so tactical. Like, it's so technical. The game is so, because they don't rely on their athleticism. They play with their mind. So when you look at like a Marc Gasol, he can barely move now, but he's still a valuable asset to his team.
Yep.
Always, he can pass the ball. They play the game like soccer.
Okay.
So, but definitely the culture is great. They love basketball.
What was your I don't want to say worst moment, but what was your realize when you knew, hey man, I'm here. I'm playing. I'm in Spain right now.
It was after a couple big games, back-to-back big games. 30 plus point games. I'm like, okay, I'm here now. But it's still, as confident as I carry myself, it's still I still carry myself very humble because sometimes I feel like even if I could, even funny story, even in university when I was leading the country and scored, and every game I was nervous. I'm like, yo, am I gonna play bad today? I could have 38 the game before, but I'm still I remember one time I went on a stretch 30 30 30 30 30, and I was still worrying. The next game I'm like, all right, I'm confident, but it's I think I don't know, I can't explain it. So I don't think I ever felt that, okay, I'm here now. It's always like a game within a game. It's like, okay, well, you could do better. Well, you got tired during the third quarter. What can you do now? Are you gonna get tired now? Or you are shooting a lot going right. Are you gonna start pulling up going left? Your 3-point percentage is down. What are you gonna do about it? So I always wait.
Fair enough. Fair enough. The business side of basketball is crazy, man. There's a lot of politics, a lot of business out on that aspect too. I got a couple more questions for you, and then we're gonna play a game, which we always do, courtesy of Devontae. My first question is, this goes back to the beginning. Obviously, not really pro basketball, just Brampton in general. Excluding NBA guys, who are the top 5 Brampton guys that you know?
All in all, or
obviously we know obviously we already know the Anthony Bennetts, the Tristan Thompsons, we the Nick Scouses, because he's a Mississauga Brampton kind of guy. We want to know the people that you think is top 5 but not NBA.
I'm trying to think.
And where do you put yourself on that list? Or
no
do you put yourself on that list?
No one could guard me, and I said it stamped.
Energy.
No one could guard me. But I'm trying to think. I definitely have a lot of respect for Shaq Keith.
Okay.
Shaq Keith. I'm trying to think who's Brampton. Okay, I don't want to name it. I'm just gonna freestyle anyone that comes to my head that I I respect.
Go ahead.
I respect Manny Sahota. I respect my OGs, Paul Blake, aka Bibby.
That's a big name right there. That's a big
name right there. I respect Davio Rodney.
Big name.
There's a plethora of names I could go through. Freddie Apia. He was, you know,
big name.
He was the Pat Beverly before Pat Beverly.
Yep.
Even if you want to go over,
even Kofi.
Which Kofi? Kofi Mensah?
Yeah.
Kofi Mensah, that was my right-hand guy in high school, CIA. Me and him were like, we used to kill everyone on the wings. Like, that was me and him were a dynamic duo. Like, Kofi, that's my guy. We used to always go to his house for lunch. Like, Kofi is like real. Me and him are real close. Like, talk on the phone all day, you know, type relationship. Me and him. Kofi was definitely a killer. He was dunking from 8th grade. You know, he was definitely a special talent. You know, we always said we were gonna, you know, try to go to the same school. You know,
fair enough.
Jabs newbie.
Big name.
Yeah, there's a. I could keep going on. Jabron Smith, Mate Atlantic.
The big name too.
There's too many. There's too many.
I'll give you some too. Grandy Glaze, Kevin Thomas.
Yeah, definitely.
my second question before we play our game. In a game versus Vaughan versus Brampton, who wins?
Who's on the Vaughan squad?
You got Devontae, you got Sai, you got.
No, I'm not a part of your guys' jet. I'm way after you guys.
Oh, okay. So Devontae, Sai. Who else?
Just generally, Devontae, Sai. You can put Andrew Wiggins. Obviously, you guys got a lot of Brampton guys too, and NBA guys there as well.
Brampton's waxing you guys.
Dingel, you got Dingel, you got Darnell.
Dingel's my dog. Dingel's cool though, but you guys are getting waxed.
we
make sure, Steven, I want this portion, huh? I want this portion.
I got you. Hey, after COVID, we're gonna set this up.
I thought you said you weren't involved. You said you weren't involved.
But my name was involved now, so now I gotta. You know.
Hey, after COVID, you guys hear it all here first on Talk Your Exposure. After COVID, we got Vaughan versus Brampton in a basketball game. We gonna set that up, man. We gonna set that up.
Yeah, we can set it up, man. It'll be good for the culture, good for, you know, the GTA. It'll be definitely a good matchup. So we're including NBA guys and overseas guys.
No. Not NBA guys. We don't. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get in touch with Andrew Wiggins and stuff like that. But you know, just definitely, you know, overseas pro guys can definitely be involved. You know, you know what I'm saying? Top 10 Vaughan guys, top 10 Brampton guys. We'll put it together.
You gotta hit up my Rexdale guys too, because that's my route. Rexdale and Malton. So I gotta squeeze them too.
We saying Brampton solidified.
That's what they say in the streets. That's what they say in the streets, man. Brampton's a different.
But yes, sir. We about to get down to a game called
In a Perfect World, man. All right, T. So
in a utopia world.
Exactly. So he's already catching my drift. But in a perfect world, you're done. You're done at Father Henry. You know, you did your last year. You know, you have every school in the country, right? Who you're gonna make your decision. Who's that school you're gonna go to? D1 school. Who's that school you're gonna go to, and why?
For some strange reason, I wanted to go to UNLV.
Why is that? We got to hear this one.
I just feel like so they're not a super high major, but they have enough respect and they're underdogs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's like their culture is so gritty. Like going back to, you know, because I always do my research, the Larry Johnsons, the Greg Anthonys, you know, their coach at that time. I forgot his name, starts with a T. But they're very gritty. And it's like they're not super high, but you respect them and they're just that mid to high level, and they just create damage.
Yeah, you definitely can't take them for granted. You know, they'll mess around and give you an upset in the tournament if they make it there. That's for sure.
Yeah.
All right. So now you're at UNLV. You know, let's say you do 2 years max in the perfect world, right? And you're on the lottery board. You know, you get the luxury of picking where you want to go because every team wants you in the NBA. What's that city you're going to? What's that city? We're talking about location, style of play, head coach, and need. What's that school you're going to? I mean, what's that team you're going to in the NBA?
To be politically correct, I would go to a team where I'm going to get a lot of minutes. Get a lot of minutes.
Fair.
then I can get to the bag quicker. So to be politically correct, that's what I'm doing. But I don't know. It's like Brooklyn. I want to play for Steve Nash. I feel like he's a high IQ guy. He's a player's coach, and he lets you play freely. But then I feel like, just like my college career, before I made that transition, I would want to play in the Spurs system.
That's two different styles of play right there. That is
because I want to learn. I want to go through the trenches with Greg Popovich, and he's not going to give you anything easy. You're going to earn everything, and then once I make it out the mud, I want to have fun playing for Steve Nash.
Okay, sure. So start that career in Spurs. Learn the gist of the NBA. You get
learn how to win. Learn how to win and play in a system that you're going to get the best out of you. Like, you know?
Okay. I hear that. And speaking of the NBA, you know, what are some players that you're watching right now and you really enjoy watching? You know, you turn on the TV, you're watching their game every time you get a chance.
Right now, it's must see TV with the Brooklyn Nets, to be honest.
We got a Brooklyn fan in the building.
I love how KD is playing. Like, I'm like studying him. He wastes no dribbles.
Yeah, that is true.
At all. He doesn't, like, everything's with a purpose. So, and I feel like Steve Nash has some playing, like, their offense just looks beautiful. Like, I'm an isolation guy, and I can sit back and say, okay, they're watching their game. You know, I like how Kyrie's playing Harden. I want to see. It's interesting to see how they're gonna mesh, but I feel like Nash will be able to manage the personalities.
For sure.
Final question. We asked all of our guests, you kind of touched up on this earlier, but who would you recommend to get on the show? But here's the kicker, though. Here's the kicker. You have to connect us with them, and you got to hook us up with them.
Get on the show with Bobby Allen.
Okay.
Bobby Allen. I feel like it'll be great for your show because he's an OG. He really quick history on Bobby Allen. He played on the national team with Steve Nash, and he was the leading scorer. Mm-hmm. So it tell you a lot, like what kind of animal he was. He everyone, all the OGs I asked, and I'm pretty sure when you do your research, every OG is gonna be like Bobby Allen. Even though I tell him I'm a better scorer than him, they said he's the best player to ever come out of Canada. If you're talking about present and past. Mm-hmm. So I think it'll be good for you guys' show because you guys get to dig into the archives, and you know. He's a real legend. Like, his knowledge of the game, he's the reason why I take a lot of bank shots.
Okay.
And I try to limit my my dribbles. He was so efficient. He was a 50% scorer, like from the field. Like, he was that type of scorer. You know, so I definitely feel like Bobby Allen would be a good look for the, you know, for you guys' show, because he has a lot of wisdom, and knowledge.
Like we said, man, you got to get us, you got to hook us up with him. You know what I'm saying? That's what we ask from you at the end.
Yeah, definitely. I'm gonna connect you guys with him, and yeah.
Most definitely, we appreciate that. What's your social media handle that people can follow you on?
Follow me on Best Kept Secret 55 on IG, and I'm just Taevaunn Prince on Facebook and on Twitter. I think it's Tay Prince 5.
That's what's up. Hey, make sure you guys give him a follow. Make sure you guys check out his page. He has a lot of cool content over there. A lot of good workouts you guys can follow and can take in as well. Hey, T, we appreciate your time, man. We definitely appreciate you coming on the show and talking about your career. We had a lot of fun today. No, your stories were very, very good, and honestly, like we really look forward to seeing you in action when all this is done, and hopefully this is done soon so we can see you back on the court, man.
Boy.
Yeah, definitely, and then, you know, after when the pandemic's over, we could do a in person, you know.
Most definitely. That's gonna be fun, man. Most definitely.
Sure, man.
Hey, man, one more time, you know, stay blessed, stay safe, and we'll talk to you soon, man.
All right, thank you. Thanks for having me. You guys are fun, man.
Most definitely.